Hi guys, my name is Claudia and I'm a dog nutritionist, and today we're going to talk about 5 mistakes that people make when they switch their dog to raw food. Number 1 mistake that people make is not cleaning up the area properly. When you are feeding your dog raw food, there is a lot more bacteria in the raw food, that's not on other types of food for your pet. And obviously, if you are cleaning your dog's bowl after every single use, if you're cleaning all the cutting boards and knives and scissors that you're using, you're doing everything great and you are reducing the chance of contracting any bacteria from raw meat, just like you would do if you were preparing raw meat for yourself. Mistake number 2 is when people tell you that you have to balance your dog food in every single bowl, which is not true. You do not have to balance your dog's food, for the whole day. You don't have to balance it in every single meal. All you have to do is balance it over a couple of days, which means that when you're feeding raw food, you're feeding a variety of proteins, at every single meal, which comes down to different organs, different meat sources, different fruits, different vegetables, different fiber sources, and that way you're giving your dog that variety and you know that your pet will be thriving and it will be balanced over a couple of days. Number 3 mistake that people make is just feeding their dog meat, rice and vegetables. And obviously we've heard from vets before that if your dog's stomach is upset, to just feed them meat and rice, which is not great. What we actually want to feed when your dog's stomach is upset is feeding a meat source such as turkey and adding pumpkin to it, or butternut squash or sweet potato. And that way you're kind of restarting your dog's immune system. But if your dog's upset stomach is not very severe, you can continue having them on their own food with a probiotic or with a fiber boosting supplement such as psyllium husk or pumpkin or sweet potato or butternut squash. But when you are feeding your dog fresh food such as raw food, you cannot just feed muscle meat and vegetables, because that food won't ever be balanced and your pet will be deficient in a lot of minerals. What you actually have to do when you're feeding raw food is you have to have a muscle meat, you have to have an organ, especially liver, and then another secreting organ on top of that, such as kidney. Then you can add other stuff such as supplements like kelp, or you can add eggs, blueberries, all the other vegetables and fruits that you can add to the pet's diet, and that way we are ensuring that your pet food bowl is balanced. Another mistake people make when feeding fresh food is not adjusting the food to your dog's weight and to your dog's needs. When you have a dog that's very active, they would eat a lot more food than a dog that's not as active. If you have a border collie that works on the farm, they would eat a lot more food than a border collie that lives in a town and they don't have as much exercise. So you really have to adjust your pet's food to their weight, to their exercise level, and to their needs. And the last mistake people make is not thawing out the food properly. Obviously, if you get the food in a packet in a shop, you're able to slightly defrost it so you can cut into the meat and portion it out. But then once you are feeding your pet, you have to make sure that the food is fully defrosted, and it's best that it's not cold either. Cold food is not the best for our pets. Even if we drink something cold, we might get something like brain freeze. So I always try to either put hot water onto the food just to warm it up a little bit, or you can leave it out for 30 minutes before you are feeding your pet. But that's basically it for this video. There are 5 very simple mistakes people can make, but they can be very easily fixed too. But if you guys want any more videos about raw food or about anything to do with dog nutrition, or even day-to-day things that I would do with my own pet, let me know in the comments and I'll see you on the next one.